So this is July 18th, 2022. We're going to talk about LinkedIn. What were you saying, Nina?
Oh, I just recommended this book, Comeback Careers.
Mhm.
And it talks about how to restart your career after maybe you just want to shift it to a different type of career, or maybe after you've taken a break. And it's specific for women 40s, 50s and beyond. And they're big into LinkedIn. So it's really along the line of what Cheryl is going to talk about today. And they and I just wanted to mention that I use LinkedIn Learning a lot. I think our school USF subscribes to LinkedIn Learning, so I get all the content for free. But you can learn anything about anything in LinkedIn Learning. These classes are fabulous, I have to say. Yeah.
Do you know, or Cheryl, do you know, before we get into the formal conversation, by the way, welcome, Tamara.
Thank you.
Just very informally, what is the process to become involved in becoming a LinkedIn Learning instructor?
Yes. So I looked into it at some point, and perhaps it's on my to-do list. One of the many things on my to-do list. You have to apply, propose your course, give an outline, give your credentials, and there's a model of compensation where you get you get some credits or compensation based on the popularity of your course. So I think almost anyone can do it. I've seen, some communicators do it, and I've seen, and they get a lot of visibility. So, it could be very, very interesting. I mean, and we could talk about that
Yeah. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
It's 6 minutes after. And although we're a small group, I'm inclined to just get going. That's all right with you, Cheryl.
Okay, sure.
And as people join us, they'll jump in. So we usually do a very quick go around, just so we know who we are. We have one guest. The rest of us know each other. You're welcome, Tamara. So why don't we just really quickly, I'm Leslie Austin, like a sentence or two really fast, and then we want to get to Cheryl. I'm Leslie Austin. I'm an executive. I'm calling myself now a mentor and advisor rather than coach, because I really do much more than coaching. And I work with very senior executives who are badly behaved and help them learn to get a life, and also with people who really, really want to excel and become even more deeply fulfilling who they are. That's not English, but that's what I do. Nina?
Hi, everyone. I'm Nina Schmidt. I work for USF. I'm a professor of instruction there, and I teach mostly finance and real estate courses. And I use this group to learn more about how to improve my teaching and other things like LinkedIn.
All right, great. Thank you. Joan?
I have been in the outplacement business for over 30-some years. So I worked with a lot of outplacement firms, helping them with people that were being fired. But about 10 years ago, while I was still with the company in Connecticut, I got certified as a retirement options coach. And so that's what I'm doing mostly now in Florida. We've been here 4 years. That's a passion of mine, to help people that they're not really retiring. People are continuing to do things for the rest of their lives. So I have a great assessment instrument that I use, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm working with several teachers that have left that industry because they're not happy. So that's who I am, and I've been in Sarasota for almost 5 years.
Okay, great. Thank you. Marilyn?
Yes, I'm Marilyn Gansell, and I worked for Calibrate Health for the past 7 months, doing 40 hours a week of lifestyle and behavior change in the area of health and wellness. And last Friday, that's why I haven't been able to attend these meetings, my screen went black in the middle of doing everything, and unbeknownst to me, I was fired. I was laid off along with I don't know how many people in the middle of my day. I thought I had all my patients that I had to work with later in the day, and I am now without a job. So since I have lost this, which I absolutely loved, even though I worked so hard, so many hours, I'm deciding to go on my own. And so I really am pushing to start a business. I'm working on finishing up my website. I'm making as many contacts as I can on LinkedIn. I really need to get out there and earn some money for myself. And also, Joan mentioned, older people like myself still want a purpose in life. They still want to do something. And I have credentials, I have studied. I want to do the wellness coaching. I want to do the lifestyle coaching because I believe in it. And I've seen change in so many people. And I have a great background. I've written 3 books, and I want to prepare workshops, and I want to do a hell of a lot more. So I'm out there, ladies, and I'm excited that Cheryl's going to be talking about this, and I'm in.
What a shocking way to fire people. With no notice? You didn't know?
No notice. I was in the middle of my morning. I guess it was 8:00 in the morning, and my first person that I was going to work with canceled. And because it was a new person, I thought, well, okay, that's all right. And then I got an email on my computer from the CEO who said you have to attend a mandatory meeting at 11:30. And I slacked my manager and I said, I have a person. I've got people all day. And she said, don't worry, that's been canceled. And I thought that was kind of funny. And I tried to get in on the Zoom meeting with my CEO. And as I did that, my entire screen went black.
Wow, that's a shocker.
And they just took everything off my computer. And I thought, what the hell is going on? I was running around here like a crazy person, like all these people I have all day. And what am I going to do? And then I got an email on my personal computer. We're laying off half the force, basically.
Oh, what a way.
One of the chosen ones. I
That's
thought, oh
great.
my God, right
Yeah,
from the Bible, I'm chosen.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Well, I'm really sorry to hear about that. That's just shocking the way they do that, and terrible
It's
for their
awful.
patients as well as their staff. Just appalling.
Yeah.
Wow. Jackie, we're just doing a 2-second go around.
So if it's my turn,
Yes, please.
oh, well, thank you very much. Okay. 2-second check-in. I revamped my business model and I'm no longer doing 3-day events. I've combined my 6-week course and my 3-day event into a 9-week program that's launching August the 5th. So I am very, very excited about that. And some of you will hear from me because I'm also studying soul realignment and we'll need some practice clients for that. So those are my 2 big things. One, I'm back to being a student, and the other is that I am now on track to teach my 9-week course 2 times before I take all my coaches on a retreat in Hawaii in January. So
Excellent. Sounds very good. Very, very good. And our guest tomorrow?
Hi, I've actually, with Jackie, practiced what she was doing. Oh, wow. She's an amazing coach. And I really got a lot of value out of it. So I just want to give a shout out to Jackie. I am an aspiring coach. My past history is working in higher education as an advisor, as well as being a career coach with Career Source Suncoast. I have been laid off since November. So I'm going on like 7 months. I have been doing some form of business coaching, providing administrative support. And I'm working towards being a business coach that I can help businesses. And this might be along the line, Joan, of the outplacement, helping people create businesses, doing their business plan, creating their strategy, building their infrastructure. I love patterns. And that really helps to do standard operating procedures. So that's kind of where I am. So thank you for the time.
Okay, I'm just looking to pull up your bio, Cheryl, but since most of us were here last time, do you just want to give us a 2-minute summary of your stellar career?
Oh, sure. Stellar career. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm so happy to be here. So my stellar career. So I've been in corporate across internal and external communications disciplines, internal comms, external crisis and issues management, public relations, executive communications, kind of you name it, I've done it. I've worked across different business industries and different business models. So that either makes me, it makes me a very good chameleon, and really bringing to, every project that I work on, just great diversity of thought. And I've really had a wonderful experience working with all sorts of people. In addition to my corporate experience, I have been a professor for the last 15 years. I'm currently teaching at Columbia in the master's program for strategic communication. And prior to that, I taught at NYU. And actually, Leslie was responsible for getting me involved in teaching when she was teaching in the coaching program at NYU. So I owe that to Leslie. We've known each other for a very long time.
And she made me look good too.
Well, that's part of my business, is to make people look good, but to take out, to bring to light your own wonderful talents. So what else can I share with you? So I'm very happy to talk education and all things communication. What I shared with Leslie when I first agreed to do this, I use LinkedIn a lot. It is an important communications channel and vehicle. Am I a LinkedIn expert that understands every single algorithm that changes every week? No, but I know enough to be dangerous and to be effective, and I can teach you all the basics, and plus, some advanced ways that you can use LinkedIn to really support your business and your brand. So purposely, there are no slides. I'm going to do some live posts. I've written one for myself this morning that I'm going to post and do it live with you. I'm going to show you how to use and research groups, hashtags, and how to do all of that good stuff. So I just invite you, as I'm going along, let's make this a group discussion. Ask me questions. If you were with me last time, I spent a lot of time talking about the why and talking about, your brand, who you want to communicate to, and less tactical and execution about here's how you use a hashtag. But, the reason I did that was because I believe it is so important that, I could teach you how to post, but what you post is even more important than how you post it, in my opinion, especially when I'm hearing you ladies talk and you have a goal in mind. You're growing a business, you're expanding a business, you're pivoting your business. There's something you want to be known for. There's something you're already known for that you want to leverage. I think, Marilyn, you've written 3 books. So there you have a treasure trove of relevant content. Nina, you're teaching. So, there's a lot of information that you already have at your fingertips. So it's the right way of using it. And, I'm going to hopefully kind of ingrain into your thinking to think about the why am I doing this? Why am I posting? Before posting anything. Everything should have a very clear purpose for why you're posting it. And I think that, there were some challenges. Margie, I remember saying, I can't describe what I do. And I said, well, wrong answer. You have to, even though it's going to be painful, you have to just think about how you describe what you do, because, LinkedIn, it's a social media page. And if someone doesn't get the essence of what you do, what you're about, your expertise from LinkedIn, you're not going to get the chance to talk to them in person. And I learned that the hard way, X many years ago. I'm a communications professional. That's what I've been doing for the last 30 years. And, I kind of relied on, well, when someone gets to talk to me, they'll get it. They'll get I'm smart, they'll get I'm experienced, they'll get I know what I'm talking about, and I'll win their trust and their credibility. I don't have that opportunity until I have the conversation with them. So
You just described my entire career dilemma. Once they talk to me, I'm fine. It's getting them to talk to me, getting the contact, getting them in contact. That's the challenge.
Exactly. And that is why the why is so important. And so I share that because I've struggled with the very same thing, and I do communications for a living. So, this is not, an unfamiliar or unique challenge to anyone who's on this call. Full disclosure, when I've worked with Leslie on her biography and her page, I know how wonderful she is. I know what an effective coach she is. And I'm looking at her bio. I'm like, this doesn't describe at all how wonderful you are and how accomplished you are.
Right.
So, and it's also using language that someone else won't understand. So that's something else that is really important, where that you use language that other people will understand. So case in point, when Leslie's calling herself an executive mentor, I said, great, wonderful, that's your point of difference. However, when someone is going to be looking for a coach, they're not going to be looking for an executive mentor. They're going to be looking for an executive coach. So even if it's painful, you need to use that language as well. So you need to speak the language of the audience that you're trying to connect with. So what I propose, I'm going to just go live on LinkedIn and start showing you some bells and whistles and things to do. And I just invite you to ask me the questions as we go along, and I'll be able to answer them. As Leslie said, this is very informal. I do not have an agenda other than to show you these basics and to show you some tools. But again, I implore you, really, really think about the why of why you're posting. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm consulting right now. So I left corporate right before the pandemic, and I've also kind of taken that scary step into consulting. And I'm doing everything from organizational communications planning for organizations. I'm working on positioning for startups. I'm a master speechwriter. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I do executive communications. So if there's ever an opportunity for us to work together professionally, I welcome that. That would be lovely. I love working with fantastic, strong women and men.
I personally remember Cheryl having to write speeches for an extremely difficult boss in a multinational company, and bridging that gap and doing really well. She had to write in his voice in a multicultural context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and that's an important. Thank you for bringing that up. I mean, again, it's important to keep in mind your audience. I'll get off my soapbox after this about the why, and we'll get into actually doing. But please remember to not be self-indulgent. I know you all love what you do and you're fantastic at what you do, but remember who your audience is and what they need and want to hear from you. So, you may want to write paragraphs and paragraphs about what you're doing. You don't have someone's attention for that long. That is not how people use LinkedIn or social media. If you don't make your point and your point of difference and make it valuable as to why they should be listening to you in the very first paragraph, you've already lost them. So, if anyone wants to be brave and put up their own profile for us to look at together, we can do that too.
Okay.
All right.
You should be able to screen share. I think I have it enabled for you.
Okay, so let's do that.
I would be willing to do my LinkedIn profile page.
Okay, sure. Hold on.
I would be too.
Okay. All right, so let's do, hold on. All right, so we're going to do Google Chrome. Okay. Everyone should be able to see my screen. Let me go to LinkedIn. Sign up. All right, so is there, well, first I want to see, is there anyone who has not used LinkedIn at all?
Minimally.
Okay, minimally. Okay, good. All right. So, it's, so I'm just going to take you through a post, or at least take you through, let's take you through a post and also some of the bells and whistles. Now, I have the professional version of LinkedIn, so I'm not quite, and I've had it for a long time, so I'm not quite sure what is going to be very different, but certainly the best practices of posting are going to be the same regardless of the account that you have. So I'm going to skip like the learning and kind of skip this for now. Let's talk about posts and groups, how you find groups, and how you also find hashtags. So I'm just going to start with a post. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I found. Can everyone see this screen? I'm off LinkedIn and now on to CNBC. Okay.
Yes.
So I found this article that I thought was interesting. So you know that there's different types of posts that you can make. You can write your own post, or you can share an article of interest and add your comments to it. And share that with your network and with groups on LinkedIn. So today I'm going to share this post. This article in a post. So most times when you see an article, you're going to see these social media buttons at the bottom or at the top that make it very easy for you to share. So I'm going to click LinkedIn, and it brings me to a screen, we hope. There we go. So it allows me to either send this to somebody as a private message, or I can share it in a post. So I'm going to share it in a post.
I think you need to change back to your tab that's LinkedIn.
Yes, because we don't see it. We do, yes.
Can you see this now?
We see, what we're seeing is the part of Julia Roberts as the first.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Hold on.
feed.
Because it came up as a pop-up. Let me share.
Okay.
Um,
We see on the Aid in-Demand Soft Skills tab, we see the article itself, but we don't see it going to LinkedIn.
yeah, hold on. You know what? I'm just going to show you my desktop so that way you can see everything.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to move all of you.
Oh, I see. So it came in as a
So now
pop-up.
you see this, yes?
Okay,
You see
yes.
the create a post?
Yes.
Everyone can see that? Okay, so last time I posted, I sent it to one of my groups. So now I'm just going to click who can see your post. So right now I'm going to do anyone.
Okay.
If you have a Twitter feed, I haven't been using Twitter, I should, but you can also post on LinkedIn and Twitter at the same time.
Okay.
But for now, I'm just going to do anyone. Okay, so now you'll see that it's already populated with the article. So I didn't have to add the URL. So it already started the post for me with the article. Now I wrote, minimize some of this junk. So I already wrote the post to save some time. So let me share with you so everyone can see my Word document, right?
Yes.
So it starts with communication, not surprisingly. Okay.
Yes.
But before I actually do the post, let me show you what I did and why I did it. So this is the link. So again, if it doesn't have the LinkedIn icon, you can just take the hyperlink and put it in and hit enter, and it will populate. Know that you can't do more than one picture or more than one link in a post. So if you're forwarding or commenting on an article, you can't link to something else. So what I did here, I wrote my own synopsis quickly, a quick snapshot of what was in the article. And rather than just say, hey, great read, I put my own 2 cents on it. Because again, I want to position myself as an expert that also has something to say. I see people get very lazy and just share articles, and sometimes it works, but it would be nice to have a little bit of synopsis as to why you're sharing it. Also, what I did. So I wrote communication, not surprisingly, is at the top of in-demand soft skills, blah, 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 blah. The people.
I think you're missing a word, by the way.
I'm sorry?
That paragraph, I think you're missing a word.
Where?
I'm your copy editor. There are many reasons why effective communication is more than ever. Do you mean more important than ever?
Okay. Yeah. So you
There we go.
proofread too. Thank you.
Sure.
So what I did here was I included the people that were quoted in the article were from Fairy Godboss, ZipRecruiter, and Career Builder. I'm including that in my post because I'm going to tag those companies so that anyone that is following those companies are going to see my post. right? So if you think about normal social media, who sees your social media? Anyone that's in your network. How do you expand the visibility beyond your network? That's where hashtags and handles come in. So when I tag these companies, people that are following those companies will see my post. Also, when I post hashtags, people that follow those topics on hashtag will see my post.
And what's the difference between a hashtag and a handle?
Okay, I'm going to show you. Hashtag is a topic. Like a topic stream. So say I want to follow all topics around communication or communication leadership. Some of your hashtags might be coaching. I'm going to show you how to find those hashtags. So basically, you're signing up to view a feed. So you're basically choosing your category and saying, all right, I want to see everyone's posts that have to do with coaching, or executives, or perhaps it's retirees or retirement planning, or it's, I don't know what the hashtag would be for laid off workers, but we're going to find it. That's a good one. Or career planning. So perhaps those are topics that you want to follow. And those are topics that you might want to use in your own post. So I'm going to show you the difference. But that's why I included Fairy Godboss, ZipRecruiter, and Career Builder. So here are the hashtags that I'm going to use. And then here are the people. So these are the 3 companies. And here are the people at those companies. So I'm going to tag them because, again, anytime I tag a person, they're going to get a notification that you tagged them. And they'll also be able to see your comments, and so will their network. So if I posted, had a great meeting today with my friend and colleague, Leslie Austin, and I tag Leslie in my post, all of a sudden, all of her contacts will be able to see my post because she's tagged in it. So it's just a way of exponentially increasing your reach. Questions so far? All right, so let's copy and paste.
I have a question.
Yes.
Would you put a handle in front of those companies, Fairy Godboss, ZipRecruiter, and Career Builder? Would that be beneficial?
Yes, absolutely. That's why, yes, that's when yeah. So I'm going to tag them. So I'm going to show you how to do that.
Okay.
All right, so let's copy this. Let's go back to the post. Where is my post? Hold on.
I just wanted to add some additional information comment. I am part of Fairy Godboss, and it's really amazing. They have a lot of good content, and they also have events and webinars that you can sign up for. So I would recommend them highly.
Okay. So you can write directly in the post, or you could do as I did, write it offline, proofread it before you post it. So here are my words. So now I'm posting it to anyone, and I'm going to show you how to post it in a group. So I already typed out Fairy Godboss. So what I'm going to do is do an @ sign, and it finds Fairy Godboss immediately. So now all of a sudden this becomes a link. So let's do the same thing with ZipRecruiter. Got that here. And the same thing with Career Builder. Got that here. Okay, so if you were just typing it in, you might want to do @ and let's say career. This is how you search for the handle if you're not quite sure what it is. See, there you go. Okay, so now we have the companies tagged. Now let's tag the people. Well, actually, let's do the hashtags first. So those are how we use a handle. Remember, hashtag is topic, and handle is people. Now at the bottom, it gives me some hashtags that are recommended. They're either ones that I use frequently, or they're picking up some of the keywords that I talk about. So, rather than go back to my document, let's do the hashtags at the bottom. You can do a hashtag actually in the body of your post, or at the end. So for example, I can do a hashtag here. And now all of a sudden, so now when I do a hashtag, it pops up all the different types of hashtags or related hashtags I can choose. Communication, communications, communication jobs, communication skills, blah, blah, blah. Communications coach. So there's a lot here. Let's see. I can also, let's say, if there's anything else worth here. You can, you can tag workplace culture. I don't like a lot of hashtags in the body because unless it's very clear, because it gets distracting. So if you are, I want to say workplace, I don't want to say workplace well-being. So I'm not going to tag that. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe soft skills is something good to tag. Here we go, soft skills. So my advice is don't use more than 3 hashtags in the body of your post. So now you have the opportunity to hashtag at the bottom. So because this is about hybrid work teams, I often write about organizational communication. So I want my post to appear to people that think about organizational communications, that think about hiring, that think about also executive leadership or even job searching. So let's say, I definitely want to do, well, you tell me. So what do you think people would be looking for? Who do you think this would appeal to? What type of people that are reading what type of topics?
Certainly people looking for jobs.
Okay. So let's look at job hunting. So we could do job hunting, job hunt, job hunter. I'm going to show you also how to find out how many people are following the hashtag so you get the best one. Or maybe it's career planning. I have already tagged communication because that's important to me. Let's do organizational communication because I want to be known for that. So that came up immediately. And we can do hybrid. Let's actually do remote work. Remote teams. And let's do DE&I.
Which is what?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Thank you.
Might have to spell it out.
Not necessarily. There we go. I don't like the words job hunt. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to also tag the authors. So let me go back to my post and see who they were. So we have Ian Siegel. Okay. If he's on LinkedIn.
You're past the writer, author, and screenwriter?
I don't think that's him. No.
Yeah, how would you know which one is?
You have to look
No.
at the title. President of Celebrate Advisors. Let's see here. I'm going to go back to the article.
I think the last name is spelled wrong. Check the spelling again. I think it's S-E-I, if I saw it right.
You are correct. S-E-I. I clearly did this before I was very caffeinated.
And he's at ZipRecruiter. He's the CEO of ZipRecruiter.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
thank you.
Yes.
I did the wrong spelling. SEI.
SIE.
There we go. Okay.
There
So
we
here
go.
he is. So I'm going to tag him. Now I'm going to tag. Thank you for my proofreading. I'm normally a really good proofreader, and
You
I'm
know what, Cheryl? I'm so comforted by, because this is what we all do, typos and misspellings, and it's like very relieving. Thank you.
and I proofread, like I will spot a typo a mile away. I proofread menus. It's an occupational hazard. Even I
Yeah,
have,
but when it's your own stuff, it's always harder.
yeah. All
You
right.
know what you're writing. You don't see the details
Exactly.
as much.
And I was also multitasking. All right, so I copied and pasted, so I wouldn't do it again. So let's tag this person. Oops. So Georgine Wang, there we go. Got her. Then I have Kristen Kelly. Kelley. All right, communications and change leader. Okay, so I'm not finding her.
Does it say in the article where she's from?
Yes, I'm looking. Career builder, chief marketing officer. Let's see if I can find her. There are times you're going to find people that don't have their profile updated. So this person, right, just
Well, that's her because it said career builder right before you click off.
all right. So this is her,
Yeah.
but she doesn't have it in her title. But this is the right person. So her title is just marketing strategy and consulting. So let's make sure I got the right one. Okay, I'm
No
not.
way to copy someone's name from their profile?
No.
And tag them? No.
So, all right, so I'm going to skip that for now. So you know what? I'm not going to put any of them in here for now, but you see how to do it. Okay, sometimes it's a little weird to tag people if you don't know them, but I've tagged the companies, but that's how you tag people. Okay, so I'm going to post this, and then I'm going to show you how to post it also to a group. Okay, you know what? I want to do internal communications too. Okay, so I can't add another picture. I'm posting to anybody. So here we go. Now that post is live. And there's my post. Now here, just to show you how the hashtags work, there are 181,000 people that follow the communication hashtag.
How did you pull that up?
I clicked on the hashtag. I clicked on the link.
Okay.
Okay, so here I'm just showing you, now I'm going to show you how to find those hashtags to use. Okay, so organizational communication, 136 followers, not big at all. Not so I need to find a better one. Remote teams, 2,000 followers, 2,178 followers. So I just did that on the fly. So I'm going to recommend that you have hashtags that you've researched. I'm going to show you next how to research the different hashtags to use. Questions so far? That's an easy way to post. How to find people and tag them with using the at symbol. How to tag companies. Now, Fairy Godboss, for example, anyone who's monitoring that, like, so mine won't appear on their feed, but anyone who is following them, diversity and inclusion is probably the better one, is going to appear. Okay, so now let's say, all right, well, I've discovered that something is better than DE&I, so I'm going to edit my post. Now I want to change this hashtag to diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion, there we go. I'm going to save it. Change is saved. Now, 73,000 followers for diversity and inclusion. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at some of the different hashtags that you all might be interested in following. So someone give me an example of a topic that you want to be involved in or want to be known for, whether it's coaching, whether it's
Trauma recovery.
What is it?
Trauma recovery.
Okay.
And resilience for me.
Okay. So let's do trauma recovery because I want to show you something. Actually, let's do resilience. I can't spell today. Okay, the resilience, oh, that's better than expected, 24,826 followers. Trauma recovery. So what I'm doing, I'm typing the hashtag up in the search bar. I'm choosing it, then I'm hitting enter. Okay, trauma recovery, not getting a lot of followers. So you're going to want to play around with what is language that other people are using that might be more popular. Maybe it's, and again, that
Trauma informed is becoming a thing. So that might be the more popular.
There you go, trauma informed. There you go, 32,000 followers. So you just solved it for yourself, Jackie. So you play around with the different hashtags. And I have a list for myself of what hashtags to use so that I know it will reach more audiences. Give me one more. Give me a business or a topic that you want to be known for.
I'll play it says stress.
What is that?
Stress. S-T-R-E-S-S.
Okay, stress. Now let's think about that and how to go a little bit deeper.
I'm known for stress management, so.
You're going to have 15,000 followers. I think you could be more specific and more pointed. What about stress?
Management.
There you go. Stress management. 21,000 followers. I also just saw something interesting. Stress management tips.
Right.
There you go. Stress. Oh, 66 followers. Okay, so not so interesting. So stress management is your hashtag. So any questions? I mean, this is going to be individual, and this is how you search how popular a hashtag is.
Now, for example, I don't know what to call what I do. I've been using emotional mastery, but people tell me they don't know what that means.
Yes.
So how would I narrow down to a hashtag that works?
Executive coaching has 17,000 followers.
Okay.
Maybe it's emotional intelligence, emotions at work.
No, that's a specific Daniel Goleman. That's a specific thing that I don't do.
Emotions at work. I would for you, Leslie, I would do leadership, executive management.
Okay.
Because that's who you're speaking to.
Right. Okay,
Okay.
yes.
Other questions? Anything else you want to try out?
I have one.
Okay.
So when you do the hashtag, I'm sorry. I'll put it in the chat.
I think it was echoing because Joan was also unmuted, but you know. I popped emotional resilience in the chat when Leslie was talking, wondering if that, emotional mastery and resilience of emotional.
No, I actually don't want to use that, but thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you research hashtags in Facebook? Meaning, well, no, I mean, first of all, hashtags don't work in Facebook. It's not something that the algorithm recognizes, but also it's a different platform. I wouldn't. You're on LinkedIn, use LinkedIn and see, because it also doesn't translate. You're talking to people on LinkedIn. So you want to see who's following what on LinkedIn. Okay. So, and again, this is where don't get fancy. Really think about who you want to reach. Sometimes it can be very specific, but you also want to reach people. And if you're reaching 200 people because you're married to a specific word or vernacular that you use in your profession, if others don't understand it, you're not going to reach them. So that is how you use the hashtags. Next, I'm going to show you how.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
So I don't have the professional version. And when I put a keyword next to EIN, what happens for me is I just get people that have that word in their description. I don't see what you see. I don't see how many followers there are for that topic.
You have to use the hashtag. And Jackie, I'm suggesting no. I do not research the hashtags in Facebook. It's a different platform.
Oh, I see. You type the hashtag, okay, and then the word. Okay, let me see.
Yes, you have to do the hashtag.
Oh, there we go. Yes, it does work. Thank you.
There you go. You're welcome.
And Cheryl, I was responding to Tamara because she's not talking about researching it while she's in LinkedIn. She's talking about researching when she's in Facebook.
Oh, so you're looking to research hashtags to use hashtags in Facebook.
Right. So I just double checked that it works exactly the same way.
Okay.
If she puts it in the search bar with a hashtag in Facebook, it's going to give her Facebook information.
Okay. Sorry. I misunderstood. So I think, Facebook groups is going to be far more effective, for something like that, I think, but, it can't hurt to try. All right. So let's look at groups. Are there other questions about hashtags and using them? Okay. So let's look at the different groups that you should be involved in. So now I'm going to change my screen share because I'm only going to be working on my LinkedIn page. 1 second. So let's do a new share. Let's go back to Google. Okay. So now you should just see my LinkedIn screen, correct?
Yes. Well, yeah. Yes.
Okay. So let's go to the home. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to post to a group, but first let's show you how to find a group. Does anyone belong to any groups on Facebook? I mean, now you got me thinking Facebook. Does anyone belong to any groups on LinkedIn already?
I don't know about groups on LinkedIn.
56.
You're speaking to an ignorant person.
56 groups?
I think I'm in like a human resource group of some kind.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
It used to be worth being in them, but now that LinkedIn has downgraded their, versatility or their you don't see them so much. But they also capped it at 44. But I added one the other day and it told me I had 56.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a couple things with groups. Again, first, why are you in a group? You're in a group to communicate with other professionals that have similar interests. So it works the same way. When you post something specifically to a group, it gets posted to all the people in that group that have a chance of seeing it, even if you're not connected to them. So again, the hashtags, the group posts, and the handles are ways of getting you outside of your normal audience. Okay, so think about it's like I'm visiting you. You're not in my normal everyday network, but Leslie put me here, so now all of a sudden you're listening to me. It's kind of the same thing when you're on LinkedIn. So now I go into a room of coaches and post something of interest. Now all the other coaches that are in that group have the opportunity to see my post. That's why and how the groups really work. So let's talk about finding a group. So you'll see, all of my groups here. I have a lot of them as well. So let's talk about finding a group. So what type of topic do you think might be interesting, or audience? Now we're thinking audience. You want to reach executives, you want to reach job hunters, what do we want to reach, or who do we want to reach?
Yeah, I don't think you want to reach other coaches necessarily.
Maybe, maybe not. Absolutely, something to think about. Who else might you want to reach?
Can you try outplacement to find out who's in need of coaching to move to the next level?
So look what I did. I typed in outplacement just in the text, and now you see outplacement in groups. I click that, and all the potential groups that deal with outplacement are going to come up. And you're just going to have to go through and see which ones are appropriate. Looking here, and you can also do filters. Filters. Here we go. Okay, no additional group filters available. So it might not be outplacement. It could be, maybe it's job hunters or job search. So job search and groups. Okay. So I just did the plain text job search group. Okay, so now you have jobs and job search group. You have executive job search networking group. That might be a good one. So again, it takes some playing around and really looking at the groups to see which ones are going to be appropriate for you. Now, and it will also tell you again the number of members and the types of members. So let's click on this one. Actually, I like the executive job networking group. Some of them are open groups, some of them are closed group. So it has the description of what it is.
Would it say if it's closed or open?
Well, you can just join here.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Yep. Okay. But then so I can't see the feed because I'm not a member of it. But it'll also give you some related groups. So click in and it requires some digging. Executive networking group might be a great one. And then you just look at all the other groups. Okay, so this is personal, global executive search. This is recruiters. So it just takes some, reading of the descriptions and thinking about, again, who you want to connect with. So I want to show you how to post to a group. Once you've decided which groups you want to join, and you join them. So here are all of the groups that I belong to. Okay, so for example, and I could just click here, and I often refer back to this because it'll show me if I'm in doubt where I want to post. I look for either, the specificity of what I'm posting or the biggest bang for my buck. So for example, I post a lot in Executive Suite. I post a lot in Leadership Think Tank. If it's more specific, I will post to maybe like internal communications best practices. There's also corporate communications, marketing communications, communications executive network. So for the post that I just did, I think I'm going to repost it to the corporate communications network. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my profile. Oops.
Cheryl, who starts these groups? Can you start your own?
You can start your own, yes. I'm going to get my last, okay, so this was my last post. So I'm just going to copy this. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start a post, which is what I did before. I'm going to put in all of that content, but now you'll see that the tags dropped. And sometimes the tags don't work in a group if they're not part of the group. If you're tagging somebody and they're not part of that group, the tag won't appear. So we're going to do these 3 companies again. There we go. Let me just grab the link. So this is how I have the URL. So now I'm going to put in the link at the bottom there. And now you see how it appeared. So that's another way of doing it. Again, you can either click the social media from the article or you put the URL right in and the article will pop up. Then you can also just delete this so that it doesn't appear. So the article's there. Now, instead of going to everyone, I want to do group members. So now I want to choose which group do I want to do this in. And I think I said I want to do corporate communications executive network or corporate communications. So I do that. I hit save. So now you'll see it's going to everyone in that group. And you can also choose, by the way, comments on or off. That's important. If you're doing something provocative and someone's being a jerk or you don't want people to comment, you can turn comments off. So I posted that. And now it's posted in that particular group. So you can do that in as many groups as you'd like. Okay, and I just saw someone's comment. It could be an all-day research project. It could be a multi-day research project. So this is where the really being thoughtful comes in and saying, who do I want to reach? Why? Who are the best people that are going to help me? And who's going to best receive my content? Okay. Questions. Where do I go from there? We covered posting. We covered how to pull in an article, how to choose a group, how to choose your hashtags. What else can I share with you?
Anybody have any questions? Tamara, you just muted yourself.
I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
On average, like per week, would you say to spend on social media, specifically LinkedIn? Could it be scheduled ahead of time through a software? What would be the best practices? I guess is my question.
It depends on who you talk to. There's some, and it also depends on what you want to accomplish. Someone that wants to be deemed as a thought leader on LinkedIn should be posting every day. I would say that the minimum is that you post something 3 times a week, but that you should be active every day. And active means like someone else's post and comment on it. And even, or reply to someone's question so that you're being seen. I think that that's really important. You can use a third-party software to help you schedule a post in advance. LinkedIn does not have that capability on its own to schedule a post, but there are third-party softwares out there. You know, what I do, I keep a Word document, you know, and I might write it in advance and then I just post it myself. You know, it's the old school way. What else?
Sometimes old school is the best way.
Exactly. What else? Other questions?
Jackie says Hootsuite.
Hootsuite, yes. That's one of the third-party vendors that
Okay.
can do it. Mhm. What else?
Any other questions, anyone? Anything Cheryl hasn't covered that we would like her to? I'm finding this very helpful, by the way. Thank you, Cheryl.
So you brought up two different concepts regarding groups, and one was about, you know, sort of your peers, people who are interested in the same things you're interested in, reading the same kinds of articles. And the other was about your audience, which I'm assuming you mean to be where we might find ideal clients.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's important to do both. You know, again, you know, and it comes down to the why and what are your goals? Do you want to build your presence as a thought leader? Do you want to build your credibility? And also, you never know where that referral might come from. And also people that are researching who they want to work with, they might want to see, well, how active is this person in these particular groups? Or, you know, I see recruiters all the time stalking like the communications groups because they want to see who's active and what they're posting and what they're all about, even when they're not communications professionals. So yeah. Other questions? Thank you for that one.
Yeah, I think, Jackie, you would want to be a group member of other speakers because they'd be sharing hints and, you know, places to speak and things like that. So that would be something. And then, you know, and then where are you gonna, who are you gonna deliver your goods to? That would be the other option, right? Your audience. So it would be the two different things. Jackie, do you find the LinkedIn is good for you, or do you mostly use the other?
I'm a social media renegade, and that if I could do without it, I would. Yeah, so never got involved in it, as in high maintenance. Speaking has always been better for me. So as Tamara worked with me years ago, trying to help me get some social media consistency. That's one area that I know I'm not overly coachable in, but I keep showing up for these because maybe one day it'll sink in.
Hey, a nugget is good.
Yeah, well, then there's also the opportunity, Jackie, to post a video. So you can record a video of yourself talking and post that instead of just content.
Definitely more interesting for me.
Does
Okay.
LinkedIn restrict the length of videos or it doesn't matter?
So here, look. So everyone can see this again still?
Yes.
So you can record the video offline, and then post it here.
Right.
Okay. I think it does. There's a file size maximum. Hold on. I don't want to mistakenly post something I shouldn't be posting. You can select your video and then post it here. I think you can also edit your video you can edit your video on here. So that's what I would recommend. So record your video on your laptop, you know, do your edits, and then you can throw it up there. Oh, something else important. Okay, so, but yes, so hopefully that is a little more palatable to you, Jackie, you know, to have your personality come through and you can do but keep it short. People don't have a long attention span. They really, really don't. So something else I want to show you, let me get to my profile. Okay, so something really cool and important is your featured section. So see this right here, if you can see my mouse, you can choose a post and put it up on your featured section. So what I've done here is these are all things that I've posted but they're articles that I've been quoted in. When I was quoted in Forbes here, and when I was quoted in Forbes here, and when I was quoted in Forbes here, quoted in Forbes again. I've been quoted in Forbes a lot. I did a panel at Columbia. So here's all my featured items that are at the top of my profile. So they're my posts or articles that I want at the top of the page. Here's a podcast I did about let's see, PR Daily. I was featured in twice here.
So Cheryl, I worked with a LinkedIn coach for a long time, and she said that LinkedIn really doesn't like for you to take people off the platform to look at articles and YouTube videos and things like that.
Mhm.
But I know it's a way of showing interest, interesting subject. But would you go back to the post and show how to do an article? Because what I have found is if I write a blog post, I put it in article format so that when people click on it, they actually stay on LinkedIn, and I have a library of information that content that I've created that doesn't get lost in a long post. It sort of stays put as articles that I've written.
So I'm not sure I understand the question, meaning if you
Just
were,
go back to where you post, doing a post.
but okay, go back to like starting a new post.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and see on the far right, it says write article.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So here you can actually put your blog post or your article that you wrote elsewhere, and now it lives on LinkedIn
Right.
instead of taking it off LinkedIn when you make a link. And LinkedIn likes this better because they don't want you to take people who are on LinkedIn
Correct.
scrolling and take them off to another place.
Correct.
So you can, so this is just a little hint that I've used. And then this becomes part of a permanent library on your profile.
Correct. If that's the case, I would also include the website or the URL to your blog, for more information. But again, like the tendency, and I'm in a networking group with another LinkedIn coach, and he says that shorter snippets get a lot more readership than long articles. So that's something else to think about. Or you might want to do a combination where you do a short snippet of the topic and say, click here for more. And then you can go directly to your blog. But these are all the different options that you have. And yes, Deb, this does, if you do post it on here, yeah, it stays as part of your profile.
And that's an interesting thing for me because I was writing articles every month that were going to the Greater Sarasota Coaches Alliance newsletter, and they were going up on the Greater Sarasota Coaches Alliance LinkedIn profile as articles.
Mm-hmm.
For them to end up on my site as an article, what would I need to do?
So they did not end up on our site as articles. They ended up on our profile as a link. You could go in here and do a post and click article and take your content and make your own article out of it. We were not doing that.
Okay.
We were just making a link to our blog, which is exactly what I'm saying. You want to not do that as much because it takes people out of the LinkedIn platform.
Okay, so I could just go to the GSCA blog, grab my content or grab it out of my files and make a new post. Okay.
Make an article. If you need me, you need me, shout.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
So
hold on
this,
a second, I'm running late for something else.
okay, so I have a quick question on a different topic, and the difference between being on LinkedIn free and paying for the pro, in terms of, does that affect your availability, your visibility, or is that mostly the ability for messaging
It's
and seeing who looked at your profile?
it does not affect your visibility. It affects your ability to research other people, to see who's viewed your profile, how many emails you can send for free, but it doesn't affect your visibility.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions? It's been very helpful so far.
Okay, good. I know I'm a little all over the place, so thank you for the questions, and also thank you for the additional tools that you've all been using. I know it's a community to learn from each other. I can take you through what I did, and again, like I worked with a LinkedIn expert who's part of my networking group. We kind of swapped skills. So he helped me with mine. I helped him with one of his presentations. So here you'll see, he said to make, because I'm kind of a bit of everything, to make good use of all of the descriptors underneath my name. I could do something different with this picture. This was actually taken on the Tappan Zee Bridge or Mario Cuomo Bridge. It's just a cool communication side that I found. But you can put, you can design your own picture with a tagline like, executive mentor to poorly behaving executives or something like that. And you can make that part of your picture and put it right up here. That could be actually kind of cool. This I have no control over, but this shows how often I talk about and tag these things. So I'm becoming known for leadership communication, change management, and strategic communication. As you start posting and tagging, that will show up for you. Here's all the services I'm providing. Make sure that you have that turned on, that here you're a service provider and here's what you offer. That's also very important for you. Then activity, you see all that. And then I have my about section. I made this list purposely long and purposely a list because if someone is searching for any of these disciplines, I will come up. I have the link to my own personal website here. But I also tried to put a little bit of personality into it. So, you can kind of get what I do without long paragraphs. What else? I have my experience here. See all my companies, my education. Unfortunately, I didn't want to put all my advisory board memberships in my career path because then it would look like I had 20 million jobs and I don't want that. So I put them under volunteering. Skills, another important section that you can add, that if someone's looking for someone with a particular skill. And then your recommendations, also important. Ask people for the recommendations.
I noticed that it's talking about endorsements, and I just wanted to say that I had to go through my profile and hide a whole bunch of endorsements because they were all from fellow therapists. And it was making me look like your regular psychotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that. Like all the people from my institutes, the 3 different places I studied. So I had a whole bunch of well-meaning but inappropriate for what I was targeting endorsements. So take a look at what they say.
And I'm looking here, I'm like, okay, some of these are really old.
Yeah.
And so I've blocked some of them. Yeah, like some of these are 10 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have some things to do here.
Right.
And
So
the
what other
difference
questions?
The difference between an endorsement and a recommendation, I think you touched on it last time, but it might be good just to touch on again.
Well, they're for LinkedIn, it's recommendations. It's just under recommendations. So you can ask someone to give you a recommendation. And if to do that, do I have any pending? That's curious. Oh, okay. Yeah, these are people asking me to write a recommendation. Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, I hear they're kind of the same, Jackie. Okay, what else?
I think that's pretty much it, unless anybody has any final questions.
I have one. Now, is the Greater Sarasota Coaching Alliance, does it have a group on LinkedIn, or does it have a meetup? Well, I found you on Meetup, so I guess it has a meetup, but you have a meeting once a month. Do you ever have interaction with other organizations or, complementary clients that we would find?
We haven't of late. And a lot of our activity has been influenced by the pandemic and the fact that we're not meeting in person as much. And we're, in the restaurant we used to meet in, which was kind of ideal, has new ownership and isn't open at lunch, et cetera, et cetera. So for now, no, it's always possible. Someone would have to volunteer. That would be a great idea, but somebody will have to volunteer to coordinate that, get going. I'd love that if somebody would. I certainly can't take that on. So it's enough for me to get all the speakers.
I would be open to volunteering.
Okay, well then we can talk about that. We usually have a planning meeting in August. I don't know if we're having one this August. We have to have a little conference and we'll send out a notice if we do, but that would be something to bring up at the planning meeting.
So we do have a page, a company page, if you will, on LinkedIn and on Facebook, as well as you mentioned, we have a meetup page, and then we have a website. Tamara, I'm not sure what exactly you're volunteering for, but you could get a hold of Leslie or somebody.
Yeah, I was speaking about having a LinkedIn group and facilitating that group.
Well, let's take this offline and not take up Cheryl's time any longer than we need to. But thank you, and let's follow that up offline. I want to thank you all for being here. Cheryl, thank you so much. This has been incredibly helpful. Really appreciate it.
So welcome.
And all of you, did you put your contact information in the chat in case people want to follow up with you or ask you questions?
Oh, yep.
Make sure that it's in the chat, please.
And I was going to suggest you stop share. So Toys R Us is not in my face. It makes me want to
Well,
miss having grandkids.
Okay, well, actually, what I was going to do is show you what I was doing for the post, because the person who posted that is someone that I work with, is the CEO of WHP Global. So I was going to actually tag him in my response. So, yeah.
That's okay.
So, all right, so we're going to do this. So my website is here. And LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn as Cheryl Finelli Dixon.
Okay. Very good. And they can reach you through your website or LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Very good. Well, once again, thank you so much, Cheryl. And thank
You're
you,
so
everybody, for being
welcome.
here.
Okay.
Mona, very happy to see you back.
Hosting, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
See you next month. Bye-bye.